Bismillah ar-Rahman Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, we begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praises belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon our noble messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Greetings to you, my brothers and sisters from Makkah al-Mukarramah, which is where I'm located in my hotel room at this present time. It's about 10 minutes past 4 a.m., about an hour and a half before Fajr time. What I would like to do is really share the presentation. The slides will take about an hour or so, and then we'll actually open it up for Q&A. So without any delay, I would like to begin the presentation. It's a very simple presentation. Okay. Okay. So the agenda is very simple. And the agenda is to give you a bit of a background for some of you who may not have heard of Nusuk, who may not have heard of changes that have occurred for Hajj since COVID ended. I'd like to give you a bit of a background and then get into the Nusuk portal, and then what's new in 2025 for Nusuk. We'll get into the Saudi Hajj partners that we have, and then our role, and then the packages and the details of the packages, including maps showing the hotels, etc. And then we'll open up to Q&A, inshallah. Okay. So, as you know, or you may not know, and that is that since COVID ended, the Saudi ministry requires that Hajj services be provided only by authorized Saudi companies. And that definition of Hajj services means flights, accommodations, transportation, catering, mashayar, which is all the accommodations, transportation, and catering in Mina, Arafat, and Muzdalifah, including even the Hajj visa, which is issued by the Nusuk portal and not by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And it applies to pilgrims from Americas, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Suffice to say, that's about 126 countries. There are non-Muslim majority countries, will not have to go through a Ministry of Hajj authorized service providers to purchase Hajj services. And the method to do that is through a portal they call Nusuk. Now, some of you may have gone for Umrah, and I want to point that out, that Nusuk app that you use for Umrah is not the same as the Nusuk Hajj portal. Nusuk app is just for Umrah, and Nusuk Hajj portal is really a website that you have to go in and you have to basically register in it, and everything is presented to you there. You make the purchase there. So Hajj quota itself has been reduced significantly for the affected countries. I don't think it has changed from 2024, so that will still have an impact on those wishing to go for Hajj versus available space. And at this time, there are about 14 Saudi companies that are authorized to provide Hajj services. We're not partnering with all of them, but we're partnering with a few, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So what do travel agencies do in these 126 countries? Number one, they cannot develop independent Hajj packages, and they cannot sell or conduct financial transactions for Hajj packages. They can partner with one or more of the authorized Saudi companies to offer their Hajj packages and services only through the Nusuk Hajj portal. So our role has become that of a guide to you, working with an authorized Saudi Hajj company in a supporting and marketing role. Remember, brothers and sisters, Dar es-Salaam has vast experience. We're talking about decades of experience, both in terms of people, in terms of operations, in terms of management, in terms of relationship that we've built with all of the organizations and companies in Saudi Arabia. So we come in with a whole amount of value add to these Saudi Hajj company, but in a supporting and a marketing role. So Nusuk portal itself is empowered by the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. It is considered and is an official gateway for pilgrims worldwide, those 126 countries. and it enables the pilgrims to purchase Hajj package services. Okay. Hajj visa is actually sent out by Nusuk in an email at a later stage after all the purchasing has been completed. Pilgrims who are intending to go for Hajj get into this Nusuk portal, and you can see the web address hajj.nusuk.sa. They create their account, they complete the profile, and they get verified. And then, of course, once they're verified, they have to have sufficient credit in their electronic wallet, which is really putting money in an electronic wallet, your own very personal account created by the Ministry of Hajj. And that money there should be enough in it to purchase your package that you're looking for. Because once the packages are available, you'll be able to see the price. And once you have the price, then you know how much money you need to have in your e-wallet to be able to purchase it. So that must be in place before you can go out and purchase it. What we have done in 2025 is that we've partnered with Saudi Hajj and Umrah. Saudi Hajj and Umrah is a branch of Saudi Airlines that is offering Hajj services this year. And that's the one that's going to use the Kirana Towers, these buildings that they have built in Mina. Fantastic buildings. I actually went through the ziyarah of the Umrah group that I have, and we went by the building. It's a beautiful building. The details of this will come out soon. You will find that in this presentation, I have information about the remaining three, Al-Burj International, Sira Mawasin Group, and Abdul Latif Jamil. But the information about Saudi Hajj and Umrah has been posted by Brother Ahmed in the Telegram group, and you'll see more and more of the information to come out, and all, inshallah, before the sales begin on February the 9th. That's the date given to us by the ministry. So we're holding that date until we hear from them otherwise. Why these companies? Well, we've worked with Al-Burj and Sira Mawasim and Abdul Latif Jamil in the past, and we believe that they share the same values in terms of the mindset they need to have for serving the pilgrims with excellence in the services provided. And they know how to develop Hajj packages that caters to those who live in the Western Hemisphere. We have some unique requirements, and they know how to cater to them. And of course, their job is to post the Hajj packages in Nusuk as soon as possible. It's not up to them to decide when to post it. They have prerequisites where they have to provide the appropriate contracts to show to the ministry that they have the accommodation locked up, that they have the airline locked up, and they have the services defined before the ministry would permit them to publish the package in Nusuk. And it will be sold on a first come, first book basis. And that is basically based on what quota is available, both for the camp and for the country. So each country has a quota, and we're using 3 different campsites, and they themselves have quotas. So what is our role then? Our role is to support you, intending pilgrims in Hajj, in what's available. How do you then go and make a choice of the packages? What are those packages? How do you book those packages? And at the same time, we're partnering with our scholars, and you'll see some of them later on in this presentation. And they're not just scholars, they're actually with institutions. So institutions and scholars that will provide you Hajj guidance from after you make the booking, before you depart, and throughout the journey, inshallah. And that is how we're going to provide you with both. We have 2 tracks, remember. There is a religious track, which is the fiqh of Umrah and spiritual questions that you have, and the manasik, which is the rituals of Hajj, and there's also the administrative track. 99% of the questions these days are all about administrative track. But we make sure that you are up to speed on both of them. It starts here, and then it continues throughout your journey until you complete your Hajj. And then we actually accompany you after preparing all of these webinars and preparing you both in the religious and the administrative aspects of this trip. We will actually be there with you throughout the trip. And we continue with guidance along those 2 tracks, along with those who are qualified from a religious perspective to take on the religious track. And inshallah, you'll see Brother Ahmed, myself, and our entire team to provide you guidance on the administrative and the logistics side. Our job is to liaise with the Saudi company, which is basically the service providers, in coordinating your arrival, your departure, your hotel check-in and check-out, your transportation, services in the camp during Hajj, which is really when you don't have a hotel. Mina, Arafat, and Muzdalifah, so that you have the most fulfilling experience possible given everything that is there. So, very quickly moving on to what's new in Nusuk. What's new in Nusuk is that there is something called a preferred package. You had this in 2024, except in 2025, you can actually choose up to 5 preferred packages. And not only that, you can have a comparison of those 5 preferred packages. So if you're interested in one, you might be thinking of another one, you might be thinking of third one, you can put them all together up to 5 packages and take a look at each one of them and compare them to see exactly which you might narrow down to maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3. You can have them all. Yeah, but remember, only one package can be in your shopping cart at a time. And what does that mean? Is that you can have your 5 comparison packages, do your homework, go through them now, ask the questions, but in the end, it'll be the one in your shopping cart that when the time comes, when the sale is on February the 9th, for example, then you're going in, logging into Nusuk, and actually you're going into the shopping cart and purchasing that package. If for some reason you can't get at that, at least you know what your second choice is. You know what your third choice is, because you can have up to 5 preferred packages. By the way, they vary in price. And without getting into why one is 27,000 riyals and why is 60,000 riyals, we'll get into that later on when we look at the packages themselves. But they do vary in prices, and you'll be able to see that when you do a comparison. Another new feature in Nusuk is called the Community tab. This is where you go beyond your own profile and send invitations to others that you know who are also in Nusuk to follow what is their preference. So you can see what others are choosing as their preferred packages, and they can vice versa see what you have chosen as preferred packages. I'm not so sure it adds any value to you, but at least it's a function available if that helps. Hey, everybody's going this way. Is that good or bad? I wouldn't go with what majority are deciding. I would go by understanding each of the packages and what you can afford and the time frame associated with that. But in the end, only one will be in your shopping cart when the time comes for you to purchase. You can always put another one later on, but one at a time. Next feature we have is something called the e-wallet. We had this last year, except now they're saying there's going to be a cash collection center. However, so far we're not aware of any cash collection centers announced, not in the geography that we're in, but they're saying there'll be a cash collection center. I think they did that 2 years ago, where in certain cities you could go to a certain place and pay, which is much easier than actually having to transfer money or using credit cards. So stay tuned. More information may come out as to what those cash collection centers are going to look like, what is their process, and whether there is one near you. So just wait, stay tuned on that. What we're asking you to do, once you have actually signed in and you've actually have a verified profile, start off by looking at how you can put money in your e-wallet. So start with actually putting a deposit of 1,000 riyals. And we're pointing out to you that you can use your credit card, you can use money transfer, but remember the credit card is the fastest option. The transferring the money option means that your money is sent to the specific IBAN code, your account. However, it still requires a human intervention on the other side. Even though you can see the money has arrived, it still requires a human intervention for someone to actually accept, acknowledge, and then credit your account. And sometimes it might take days. That's why we think the credit card is the fastest choice. However, you might find that you have credit limit. And despite the credit limit, charging your credit card in paying Nusuk might result in a fraud alert, where the payment is being denied. And that is because of various legislations and various protections the banks have built in and the credit card companies have built in when they see an amount going in a foreign currency to a foreign country. So number one, you might want to contact your bank to clear the transaction, but sometimes that is not sufficient, and you may have to even call your credit card company to clear the transaction. So both, you have a credit card from a credit card company, you also have it with the bank associated with that, you may have to go through both. But remember, to purchase a package, you have to have verified profile and sufficient credit in your e-wallet. So let's start off by putting in 1,000 Saudi riyals. Be comfortable how to do it, know exactly what you go through, and then later on when the packages are out, and I think some of them are already out, and you can take a look at them, and you end up narrowing it down to the package you're looking for, then you will know how much more you need to put in. The bottom line is, before February the 9th, you must have sufficient funds in your e-wallet that when February the 9th happens, or whenever they start the sale, you could go in and select your package and say, I'm purchasing it. If there's sufficient money in your wallet, then voila, you have your package purchased. Okay.
So,
Now, for some
Brother
reason,
Azhar, if I
yes, sir.
may add here, if we can just go back to that slide.
Yeah.
So, I know we've taken a survey in the group, and mashallah, close to, I want to say about 70% of the individuals planning to go for Hajj in our groups have already tested the deposit. So, alhamdulillah, a lot of them are functioning clearly. So, I just wanted to add a rule of thumb here because most of the packages, I would say 16 or 17 packages of the supported 22 packages, inshallah, that will have a large variety, alhamdulillah, diverse variety. I think rule of thumb would be is to select 3 packages that you're comfortable with financially. Configure them with the airline, with the maximum airline, maximum capacity that you're comfortable with. Choose 3 and look at the maximum one, the highest level that you can possibly do, that you're going to be okay with, and that's what you should top up now. So if you have already tested, then you should top up with those highest from 3. So let's assume that rule of thumb, pick 3 packages, find the highest threshold in what you're willing to pay in terms of the configuration of rooms and configuration of flights, and that's what you should top up, inshallah. Thank you, brothers.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ahmed. Thank you. Appreciate that. We should also point out to you, for some reason, if you want a refund, whatever that amount is, whether it's 100 riyals or whether it's 10,000 riyals, that there is going to be deduction in what you get back. And the deduction actually is a very odd percentage. It's 2.645%. And that is based on the actual deduction of 2.3% plus value added tax. And that would be your deduction. And in case of currency rate differences, I know the US dollar is pegged to the Saudi riyals. Their exchange rate do not change. But other currencies, Australian, the UK, Canadian, they will fluctuate. So the refunds will be reflecting that exchange rate difference as well. You could gain from it, you could lose from it. So the minimum you are looking at is at least 2.645%. And if the exchange rate is favorable to the country where you're refunding to, then you will gain some. And if it's unfavorable, your rate has gone down, then you lose some more. And by the way, the refund process itself may take time. We have all kinds of issues with people saying, I've already applied for refund, but it depends on the timing of it. They will actually process the refund. Most of the time they start processing the refund, it may be after Hajj, after the Hajj journey has started. And once things settle, then they look at the refund. So don't expect that the refund will be right away. And so we're letting you know, A, deduction, and B, the time it takes to get the money back.
If I might also add one thing here, or 2 things, Brother Azhar.
Sure.
The first part is, I know there's a few of the brothers and sisters that are concerned of topping up a substantial amount of money, and worried that they might not be able to choose their package, and then that would mean that they would be penalized a substantial amount when you're essentially doing 100,000 riyals or 150,000 riyals, and that is warranted. That is a warranted concern. But what I want to say to you all is that, you know, the whole process here for Nusuk is kind of basically pay to play, right? So you have to pay in advance or fill the e-wallet in advance. And that is the only model that we have at this time. But what I can reassure you is to say that inshallah, if you've made the niyyah for Hajj, like last year, if you've made the niyyah for Hajj, I can probably promise you that you will find the package that you will be able to go to Hajj on. It might not be your first or second or third or fourth option, but if you've made the niyyah to go to Hajj, don't be worried that you won't be able to go. It's just more of like you won't be able to have the package that you planned for, but inshallah you should plan that you should be able to go, inshallah. And then the refund process, typically credit cards are faster. But it's not where you want to withdraw two weeks from now and it's gonna go right away. They actually activate the refund process, probably right after Ramadan or a few months after Ramadan. We don't know exactly the time, but the credit card process is probably faster than a bank transfer in that sense as well. Thank you, brothers.
Thank you, Brother Ahmed. Anytime, you have to add something to it, please feel free. I want to point out the two other features, and their terminology is different than what you and I might think it means. What they call custom packages really are packages for certain areas based on group flights only. And that is, they have a package and they have a group flight that matches the package. You don't have to have a customized flights. And that is expected to be launched on February the 9th, 2025. That's the date given to us in the Hajj conference that was held in middle of January. And we're hoping that that's still true. The public packages, what they call, are packages that are based on you being able to customize your flight. So an example would be if somebody wants to not take the group flight out of New York or out of Toronto because they want to first go to Dubai and drop their kids off before they go for Hajj. So they buy their tickets from here to Dubai on their own, and they're now looking for a flight out of Dubai. And that's a customized flight because the flights available with the package is the group flight. You don't want that. You want the flight out of Dubai. You're taking your own flight. Now, the thing with customized flights, and we had this experience last year, is that you can't configure and save that because you're looking at a live system to be able to configure the flight so you get an idea how much it's going to be. But as at the time of purchase, you'll go in and try to get a customized flight. Then the price may change. You may still have to add more money in your e-wallet, and know that this will be open to all 126 countries. Our experience has been that if you use the group flights, you'll have an opportunity, especially where the camp quotas run out. So you'll have the opportunity to do that. And so when it comes to public packages with customized flights, people who really are into going into Majr al-Kabsh camp, which is right across from the Jamarat, a premium camp, it may and likely to be sold out prior to this date because the group flights would have occupied it. That's what happened last year. And then you started looking for other camps that are available. So I would say to you, and this is something that I advised last year as well, that if you are looking at a group flight, with a package that matches it, and that's what's in your shopping cart, as your first preference, you have two more lined up, but they're all with group flights, then it's a matter of finding the right one and when the time comes, February the 9th. If you don't, and you must take a customized flight, then you are also taking a risk that the customized flight may be expensive when you're actually purchasing it, then when you looked at it through Nusuk, and B, it may not have the desired campsite because that is sold out and I'm looking at another campsite. So there's no shortage of packages. It's not a matter of you won't find the packages. What the issue here is that you may not be able to, you may run out of quota for the camp or quota for the country. And we'll speak about it a little bit later, inshallah. So let's talk about the hotels in Mecca and Medina and all of the packages that we have worked with these service providers. The hotels are located very close to the Masjid al-Nabawi in Medina. So you can see our packages will have the hotels like Medina Movenpick, Medina Hilton, Dar al-Taqwa, Saja al-Medina, Tulip Inn. They're just around the courtyard of Masjid al-Nabawi. What you're looking at in the center is Masjid al-Nabawi. That white area that you see are umbrellas that are opened up to actually keep the marble floor cool. And so all the hotels are around it. That Movenpick Medina is literally 10, 20 steps outside from the hotel, and you walk in right into the courtyard of Masjid al-Nabawi. So the hotels are very close. We do have a hotel called Crown Plaza. That's in one of the packages that we have, but you can still see that it is relatively close to Masjid al-Nabawi. When it comes to Mecca, you can see that it's also surrounding the Haram. That clock tower complex that has several hotels, we're using Swiss Al-Maqam and Fairmont and Swiss Hotel. And also we have Anjum Hotel offered by one of our service providers. And so they're all close by. We do have some where you're not really staying in around the Haram. You're staying more like in Azizia in a hotel. And I want to point that out. in here that is called the Asfor Hotel in Ar-Rayyan, right? So you can see that this hotel is more or less not in Mecca proper. This map tells you, you can see on the left, top left side where Masjid al-Haram is, and the other hotels that I mentioned in the previous slide surrounds the Masjid al-Haram, whereas these hotels, Ar-Rayyan and Asfor hotels, are actually in Azizia. And you can say, well, it's only 3 or 4 kilometers away, but you can't say 3 or 4 kilometers so easily when it comes to Hajj and the traffic associated with it. So it gives you an idea. If you look carefully at this map, it tells you Majr al-Kabsh camp. Everybody wants that camp. It's a premium camp across the Jamarat. You can see that camp and you can see how close it is to the Jamarat in this Google map. The new this year is called Kidana Towers, offered by the Saudi Hajj company, and that is a fantastic place to be in the middle. And then, of course, we have what used to be called the North American camp, the Al-Muassim camp, which is further away. And I have a comparison chart that will give you an idea in terms of distances, right? So this is a closer view of that. You can see that the Jamarat and the Majr al-Kabsh camp, how close they are to each other. And then you can see the Kidana Towers, and you can see the Mina al-Muassim camp. These are the 3 locations we are going to be using in our packages. And when I say that you may look at a package and it runs out of the camp option because each camp has capacity. So by the time you go to purchase it, your favorite one is gone. Now you have to look at the others, for example. Right? So that's what I mean by there's a country quota and there's a camp quota to worry about. Let's talk about transportation. During the manasik of Hajj, where you go from Mina to Arafat to Muzdalifah and back to Mina, what will you be using? So in the case of Kidana Towers, it'll be dedicated buses. Now, dedicated buses means that if you are in a group, you have a bus, that is your bus. That belongs to that group. And all that group travels on that bus. However, if you have a package that is using the Al-Muassim camp, they don't have a 1-to-1 ratio of a bus to a group. What they have is what is called rotating buses. So you'll be given a specific time for you to be there at the entrance for your bus to come in and take you to Arafat when the time comes for you to go to Arafat. And so they have only so many buses that simply rotates. They just simply go from Mina to Arafat. You just have to wait your time. And same thing happens in the evening when you have finished your day of Arafat, which is the day of Hajj. You have to still wait because they'll pick up some people, bring them to Muzdalifah, then go back and pick up the others. So that's more or less a rotating buses. And there are challenges associated with that. If you are in any of the Majr al-Kabsh groups, then you will be using Al-Mashayir train, which is right across from the Jamarat. And the train system will take you from Mina to Arafat, in the evening, Arafat to Muzdalifah, and back from Muzdalifah to Mina, all Al-Mashayir train. However, when you're in your camp in Mina, you still have to go to make Tawaf al-Ifadah. And when you have completed your Hajj, you still have to go to Mecca and make Tawaf al-Wada. All that is done on air-conditioned buses. And we tend to work with our service providers and have them provide us with the latest model buses because they are clean and they are well maintained. 2025 and 2026 model buses we've requested. Now, I've put something in the bottom, and you probably have heard what happened last year, and then expect the temperature, right? It will be hot. It is still in June. It's not going to be a cakewalk. And there's only so much an air conditioning can do, but it will be hot. So bear that in mind when it comes to staying in the camps, when it comes to walking any distance. Whether it's evening, it's still warm enough in the evening that you feel it. Daytime, of course, you should be in the shade. This chart, I want to take some time explaining this chart. It will tell you the distances in terms of minutes. It will tell you the transportations and transfer methods and so forth. So let's start with this. You're looking at the 3 camps. Majr al-Kabsh that I had shared with you across the Jamarat, Kidana Towers, which is a building that they have built, furnished building, multi-story building, self-contained building that has separate floor for men, separate for women, separate bathrooms, separate praying areas. And of course, Al-Muassim, that is one of the camps that have been there for a number of years. and is the furthest away. If you're going to come to the Jamarat, remember, when you don't have a hotel, that's what matters. Hajj is not being in the hotel. Hajj is when you don't have a hotel. When you are in Ihram and you're actually out there in that temperature. What matters is that you can still concentrate spiritually in the reason you're going there and not be bothered by the elements surrounding you, whether it's crowded people, crowded washrooms, and etc. So the ritual of Hajj that requires you to go from your camp in Mina to the Jamarat and throw stones at the Jamarat and come back happens on the 10th of Zulhijjah, 11th of Zulhijjah, and the 12th of Zulhijjah. Minimum 3 days. It could also be the 13th of Zulhijjah, but minimum 3 days. If you are in Al-Mu'assim camp, that walk, by the way, is a one-way walk of 45 minutes to an hour. Right? So if you're coming in after Asr time because you must throw before Maghrib, you're still looking at a pretty high temperature and you're walking for an hour to come to the Jamarat, throw the stones, and walking back. That's the distance for Al-Mu'assim. A lot of people do it. Large majority of the population is in Al-Mu'assim camp. But we're just letting you know the distance so you can understand. In Kirana Towers, which is not quite as far as Al-Mu'assim and not as close as Majr al-Kabsh, it's actually closer to Majr al-Kabsh than it is to Al-Mu'assim. It's estimated to be about 20 to 30 minutes. Majr al-Kabsh is about 15 to 20 minutes to go to the Jamarat, to throw the stones, and then come back. What kind of a transport you'll have? Well, if you're in Majr al-Kabsh, I already mentioned, we'll use Al-Mashayir train. If you're in Kirana Towers, it's still a dedicated private bus. It's not a rotating bus. And if you're in Muassim, it's a rotating / shuttle bus. When it comes to transferring you from one place to the other, and Majr al-Kabsh camp groups will have private buses and train. Kirana Towers will have private buses and train. And of course, government shuttle buses and Al-Muassim. We're talking about the train between Medina and Mecca. We're not talking about Al-Mashayir train here, because Mashayir transport is that second row. The transfers here is between Medina and Mecca. You'll have the high-speed train to go between Medina and Mecca, or private buses. If you're in Al-Muassim camp, it's the government shuttle buses. When it comes to accommodation like shifting and non-shifting, which I'll define a bit later, let's say you're now staying in Azizia, or you have a hotel in Mecca that you're going to retain, which is considered to be non-shifting, or you've shifted out while you're in the camps and you'll have a location in Azizia. Do I have service available to go from my camp to either my hotel in Mecca or my camp to the building in Azizia? Well, in Majr al-Kabsh, yes, the shuttle service is available. In Kirana Towers, you don't need one, because the tower themselves is like Azizia building. It's like a hotel building. It has everything in it. So that's why you move to that tower, because you don't need any other secondary accommodation, neither the hotel in Mecca, nor you need the actual Azizia furnished accommodation, because Kirana Towers is your accommodation. And when it comes to Muassim, transportation is limited or often not available. And our experience has been that those who were in the shifting packages in Al-Muassim camp, yes, they had the hotel, but it was difficult to reach sometimes because of the lack of availability of transportation. Okay. And same thing, let's talk about the meals during Mina and Arafat. You can see that it says open buffet catering. So obviously that part is not an issue. Meals in Muzdalifah, when you're spending the night in Muzdalifah, there are box meals for Majr al-Kabsh and Al-Muassim, but they're going to be hot meals for Kirana Towers because they have an exclusive area for providing that service. When it comes to men and women setup, men and women are assigned separate tents within the same compound. So you have, looking at Majr al-Kabsh, walk in through the main gate, and you have a set of tents for the women, separately than set of tent for the men. So if you're going there with your wife, you'll be able to see her, you'll be able to meet her in the common area, for example. When it comes to Kirana Towers, because it's a building, they are on separate floors, so that women can be at ease and not have to worry about a strange man coming in, for example. And when it comes to Al-Muassim, they are actually assigned in separate areas, but they have different access points based on the camp that you have. So sometimes you can't even get to the women's side and they have to find a way to get to you in a common area. But that's been the case anyway. Last year it was a bit more difficult because it was further divided by the area that belonged to a particular service provider versus another service provider. It's a bit of a challenge, but it's still there. So this is a good way of looking at, your campground in Mina versus the services and how they're provided between your campground, either the services in the camp, in Mina camp, or when you're actually going through the Mashayar, or you're going to the hotel in Mecca and so forth.
Brother Azhar, if I can add something here, inshallah.
Sure.
So I just wanted to clarify for everyone, if we can go back. Yes. When Brother Azhar mentions Masha'ar transport, this is the transport within the Hajj time, Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah. This is not the transport outside of Hajj coming from Medina to Mecca or Mecca to Medina. Inshallah, all the packages that we're supporting, regardless of which service provider, will be taking the high-speed train from Medina to Mecca or Mecca to Medina. There's no connection to those two transports, by the way. So the Masha'ar train in Mina, if you say, well, how come the other locations don't have the train? Is this better or that's better? It's actually planned in a way where if you are in Majar al-Kabsh, you take the train to be dropped off in specific areas in Arafat and Muzdalifah. And if you're in Kedana Towers, you'll be going to a different area. In Ma'isam, you're going a different area. And keep in mind, of course, private buses are specific to Majar al-Kabsh and Kedana Towers. And in Ma'isam, like Brother Azhar mentioned, are government shuttle buses. Basically, what happens is the Ministry of Hajj contracts with private buses or bus companies. They might be offering them basically lower year buses, and they shuttle back and forth the larger amount. So there's no assigned buses, but it'll shuttle them. And once they finish their rotation, they move on to the next phase, inshallah. So just to clarify, okay. I believe just to clarify also, transportation from Medina to Mecca or from Mecca to Medina for the standard option is by bus, not Haramain train. Just to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah. So before you ask us a question, can I be in Kedana Towers and take the train, Al-Mashayar train, and not a private bus? The reason why you cannot do that is because the train stations and the tracks are built on the one side of Mina. They don't go all over Mina, right? If I were to go back and show you in a map, for example, just to give you an idea why it's not possible. If you look at this map where it says Jamarat and Majar al-Kabsh, look below Jamarat, it says Mina train station number 3. That's where the train tracks are. So it's not possible for you to walk. It's just too much of a walk from Kedana Towers to come to the train station. That's why the train is not assigned to those in Kedana Towers, and definitely not assigned to those in Muassim, because it's nowhere near a train station or a train track. So it's not an option as to why can't I have this and combine with that. It's those who are actually in and near the train station that are not given the option of taking the bus, because the whole purpose of creating Al-Mashayar train, which by the way runs 2 days in an entire year, taking pilgrims from Mina to Arafat, in the evening back to Muzdalifah, and the following morning back to Mina. That's the entirety of the train system. 2 days an entire year. The whole purpose of doing it is so that they can alleviate some of the congestion that happens on the road. It is absolutely packed. And no buses and no transportations actually come inside the valley during the days you're in Mina, as an example. They'll come pick you up, take you to Arafat, bring you back, and after that, no cars, buses, anything comes inside the valley. So it's important to understand how they've built this thing to manage both the traffic and people, and that's why it's not an option of saying, can I have this combined with that? If I'm in Majar al-Kabsh, no buses. You're too close to the train station, use the train station. If I'm in Kedana Towers, sorry, buses only, but the good thing is it's your bus. It's your private bus with your group leader on the bus, with all the people belonging to that group on the bus. That's your bus. And you can go, and if you're in Al-Muassim, it's a shuttle bus. I have bus that covers 60% of the population. So we have to keep going back and forth until everybody's transferred from Mina to Arafat, on the evening, Arafat to Muzdalifah, the following morning, Muzdalifah to Mina. And so that's why you have different options available. And that's what we're trying to show you in here as to why that is. It has nothing to do with going between one city and the other. And that is the Haramain train, which is between Mecca and Medina. Okay. Let's speak about the Hajj
while you're doing this, brother, as I just want to also mention, some individuals probably are trying, maybe they're analysts or statisticians, and sometimes say, well, why does Dar es Salaam say once 20 minutes and the other times 30 minutes? Well, brothers and sisters, remember there's congestion, and everyone has their own pace. So we give an estimate, right? I can probably make it in, alhamdulillah, in 14 minutes. Probably someone else can make it in 30 minutes. So that's why we give an estimate. Not that we don't know how long it's going to take, but we just give an estimate. Right?
Let me give you an answer. I just want you to understand the flow of people. The Jamarat has been built to handle a flow of 200,000 pilgrims per hour. That's not a small amount. That's why they have to keep it to one way. There has been instances where I've come out to throw stones and gone so far and said, you know what, it's just too crowded, let me get back. Right? I'll go back another time. So this is why the time differences are there, because some days you'll be in that crowd and some days you'll breeze through it. And so that's why it varies, depends on when you go through the stone. But imagine that, 200,000 an hour. It's a spectacle to watch, is the number of people coming in and fulfilling this ritual. Let's talk about partnership that we have with Hajj service providers and how we want to make sure that the services is centric to you. That's what we built it. What is it that you need? And who are you surrounded with? And how those services are delivered. So A, you need two things. You need administrative and logistical guidance, and you need religious guidance. You will have an imam, access to an imam, the one who actually leads the prayers in Mina and gives the khutbah in Arafat. And you'll have group leader to help you with the logistical aspects of it, movement, luggage, etc. So you will know who they are, you'll be dedicated to that person, and the group will be with you. And then, of course, there's also going to be a stream. If I have got a program that has, let's say, 200 people, I may have 4 group leaders, each of 50, because that's how many people fit in a bus. And then all 4 group leaders are then managed by a program manager. And the program manager is looking for resources. He speaks to an operations manager. Look, I want to plan out that these guys are going to go by train from Medina to Mecca, but the luggage cannot go on the train. Can I have a truck available so we can pick up the luggage and ship it overnight to the hotel in Mecca before they actually take? It's easier for them if they're in Ihram, just taking a hand carry. So that's a conversation, that logistical planning that happens, and that's conveyed to the group leaders, who then communicates with them as to what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Right? So that's part of the services that we provide. A whole bunch of things they do, but they are dedicated. A program manager is there for that program only and nothing else. A group leader is there for that group only and nothing else. That's where the services come in. Right? We also have the services themselves, and that includes when you arrive. Are we expecting you to be there? Yes, we have a list. Unless you changed your flight and we didn't know, we would have issued the tickets for you, or they would have issued the tickets for you. We will know which flight you're coming in. So there's somebody at the airport, a dedicated team, what we call meet and assist, a transfer team sitting at the airport for your arrival. When you come to the hotel, you never actually go to the hotel's reception desk and say, I'm such and such, I came with such and such company. You actually meet a representative of the company that actually checks you in, because we've already handled that. We already have the relationship. We're here 7/24, 365 days with working with the hotels and working with the service providers. Same thing with transportation, when it's needed for the movement, whether it's going from the hotel to Mina or anything else. It's all a separate department that plans out the transportation. I've just come back from Arafat and Muzdalifah. I've opened up, I've taken my ihram off. Now I have to do the next thing, which is to go for Tawaf Al-Ifadah. Does the whole camp go at one time, or do we stagger that? And how do we stagger that? How many buses are needed? Will they come in front of the camp, or do we have to walk a little bit to catch the bus? All of that is part and parcel of work that happens between the ops and program manager, and transportation makes it happen. Same thing I mentioned, give you an example of luggage. Thousands of pieces of luggage are handled because we don't want you to carry that luggage on the train between Mecca and Medina. And so that is a separate department that looks after luggage transfers, right? And all of that is surrounded by teams that we don't do Arafat, it's not our responsibility. We don't do Mina. We work and liaise with the service provider. That's responsibilities for them to set up the camp and set up the spaces in the camp and set up the bathrooms, for example. So we work with them. We will give them the numbers. They have the numbers. We'll tell them male, female. We'll work with you to find out, well, this person requires a CPAP machine, and we'll tell them, by the way, put him in the camp near an electrical outlet. We will work with you to find out this person has difficulty walking. We'll put him near the entrance, for example. So we work to make it easy for you, but we work with them in the background to make things happen for you, whether it's staying in Mina or in Arafat or in the hotels in Mecca and Medina. Right? How do we know when we have multiple programs and multiple program managers asking for the same resources that might be in conflict? That we have something called an HOC, Hajj Operations Center, that looks at all of these requests and see how we can actually make it happen. Or something has to be sequenced, or something has to be delayed. And that is part of HOC. They have a bird's eye view of all that is happening. And this is like a control tower, you can call it, that is looking at all of the requirements coming to them from different program manager. I want this and I want that. No, this is it. There's an issue. This luggage is lost. Who do I go and see? Or somebody's found here. Luggage is found here. Who does it belong to? So it is central nerve system, if you will, of the whole operation, which is the HOC. And there's a constant communication back and forth with HOC on that. So we have this proven, over and over again, this model. It requires a lot of effort. It requires a lot of manpower that's invested. But the reason for doing it is because you are the ones that we need to serve. And we want you to have a truly fulfilling and transformative experience going for Hajj, regardless of the circumstances. So let's talk about how we do that. We have shuyukhs from North America, Canada, and Australia. You will see them in charts coming up soon. They're assigned in collaboration with the institutions that they work in and with Dar es-Salaam, to make sure that all of the programs have someone that actually can address any of your spiritual needs. They are therefore assigned to the respective packages. We're picking those shuyukhs that have experience in providing Hajj services. And they are the ones who look to giving lectures in Medina and Mecca during your stay, and leading the prayers and giving lectures in Mina and Arafat and Muzdalifah when you are in the state of Ihram, when you're actually performing Hajj. And they should be available for all Q&A and all fiqh issues. That's the religious track. Let's talk about who they are. So from Al-Burj, we have these shuyukhs that are going to be there in different programs. And that covers all of the programs. You have people like Dr. Omar Suleiman, Dr. Tahir Wyatt. You have Sheikh Ammar Al-Shukri from Al-Maghrib Institute. At the bottom of it, you can see the institute that they belong to, and they're working with us as an institution and offering these shuyukhs. Sheikh Hussam Musa, I was with him last year. Phenomenal person in terms of looking after his group and making sure they're engaged and they understand all of the ritualistic aspect of it. Dr. Haifa Yunus, very much in demand as such. So you have all of these shuyukhs. Just look at the names you have. Yahya Abdul Bari, he's from Al-Maghrib Institute. Dr. Farhan Abdul Aziz. Omar Hadrouk has been with us even when he was a student studying in Medina. And now he's actually, mashallah, an imam and scholar that is based in Michigan. So you have all of these people all on packages that are with Al-Burj. We have a separate set of folks and shuyukhs and institution that are supporting Sira Mawasim. Dr. Yasir Qadi, inshallah, will be going with us. Sheikh Farhan Zubairi, Sheikh Numan Beg, they were with us last year as well. Sheikh Fazal Bari, I remember him when he was a student, we worked together. And so you have all of these. Sheikh Yahya Abdul Hadi, just recent graduate of Islamic University of Medina. It's been a couple of years since his move to Vancouver, British Columbia. So you have people like Sheikh Zaid Khan from Institute of Knowledge, and they're available and they're assigned to support the packages that are with Sira Mawasim. Right? And when you look at the Abdul Latif Jamil packages, you have Imam Muhammad Majid, Abdul Wahid, Sheikh Abdullah Wahid, Mufti Abdul Rahman Wahid, and Mufti Abdul Wahab Wahid. They are part of Miftah Institute, or the fifth pillar. And of course, they're assigned to give you the actual coverage of the packages. So the shuyukhs are there. We have named them. They have agreed to do so, minus here and one or two maybe, if there are any circumstances. But right now they're committed, all of them that I've shared with you. And that will ensure that you are going to be provided with ample time with them and full religious coverage on all aspects of Hajj.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Azhar, if I can just add one thing, because I'm sure there's A lot of brothers and sisters right now typing up or writing a question. Well, where is Ustada Aisha Prime, and where is Sheikh Yahya Ibrahim, and where is Dr. Muhammad Salah? And they're writing all these mashayikh, mashallah, and scholars, and where are they? Why aren't they posted? So inshallah, as you all know, the much awaited fourth service provider, Saudi Hajj and Umrah, and the Kidana Towers. There's a lot of other mashayikh and scholars that will be announced there as well. So we appreciate your patience. I know you all want to know about the Kidana Towers. When we have that information, we'll post it bi'idhnillah.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. Yeah, I mentioned that up front. Of the four service provider, this is not detailing anything about Kidana Towers because that is still in process. It's been approved. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of not happening. It is going to happen. The question here is, we're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's before we tell you what they are. It's going to be another phenomenal service provided by the shiukhs that will be assigned to them. Location is phenomenal. And I think, for those who have never been, because it's just a tower that just opened up. Last year was the first year. I'm pretty sure after this, you'd probably want to go to the tower. This is a tried and proven method for Dar Islam for as long as I've been around with Dar Islam, which is over 30 years. A program manager is assigned by the service provider. We actually work with them to say, look, this person has done this before. And so he's got years of management experience in his private life, whether it's commercial life or corporate world. And he's done Hajj before several times, and just have him manage this thing. And they'll end up picking the person who's then going to create the team that he has, all of the leaders under this program, so all of the imams within the program, and then come up with a itinerary that supports what we want to do with respect to smooth operations and services to the pilgrims. Operation manager assigned, again, not over multiple operation. Same thing. Normally an operation manager is somebody who's a Dar es Salaam person. And we work with the Hajj service provider to have them take in the Dar es Salaam person to actually then go in and help and work with the service provider in running the operation for that particular program. Okay. We also had physicians last year for medical needs and advice, and available specifically when people are not feeling well because it's hot and there's a lot of movement, they've not had sleep. So the physicians are available in the camps to actually provide the medical advice and even dispense some medicine. What do we plan to do? Well, we plan to host a whole bunch of separate webinars to present the religious as well as the logistical aspect of the journey once the sale has come to an end. We'll know exactly who is in which program, and then associated with that program, whoever the program manager is, whoever the group leaders are, and whoever the shiukhs are, will have this created so that we'll introduce them. At some point in time, we'll have a detailed itinerary presented to them about the logistical aspects of the trip, the administrative aspect of the trip, and of course, the spiritual aspect of the trip. It'll all be happening prior to departure. And then, of course, they will also be there on the ground to assist you. So stay tuned on that one. Now, I'm going to jump into Hajj 2025 packages, and let's start off by speaking about the challenge in 2025. The package availability is not going to be a challenge. As a matter of fact, I think you'll see a saturation of packages. Last year, we had 402 packages. And you need to know how to filter down to the packages that is associated with Dar es Salaam. And Dar es Salaam is working with the service providers, and we'll be able to tell you how in Nusuk you can filter down to those packages, whether it's Al Burj or Sir Mawasim or Abdul Latif Jamil. So you look at those packages associated with us, and you need to then decide and select an appropriate primary and perhaps 2 secondary packages, all before sales begin. In this case, let's say if you're looking at group flights, all before February the 9th. And when you looked at these 3 packages, the one that is the most expensive, you need to top up the e-wallet to that level, right? You might want to get a lower level package, and that's in your shopping cart. But one of your secondary packages, let's say, is 3,200 riyals higher. You must have that extra 3,300 riyals in your e-wallet in case this lower level package is not available, and now you have to go to the other package. You don't want to be in a situation where you say buy, and it comes back and say you don't have sufficient funds. Now you're racing against time, that you're trying to get your credit card through to put the money in your wallet, and the quota is being consumed by everybody else that's already on there to finish it. Last year, the quota for the group flights, it just ended in a day, I think. It just took 1 day for a country quota, for the camp quota for Majal al-Kabsh to come to be exhausted. So it's very stressful for people who want to get in. But we'll tell you more about the option that you have with the Kidana packages. But you need to decide that the package primary and secondary and top up the wallet based on that. So that's the challenge. The camp quota and the country quota limitation remains a challenge. You may have the country quota, but then Majal al-Kabsh is sold out because the camp quota is exceeded. Now you're looking at Kinana Towers, or it's sold out. Now you have no other choice but to go to Al-Muassim. So those are the things you'll face with. And so make your choices and put one on the shopping cart, right? The race will be on February the 9th to make sure whoever gets in to Nusuk, logs in, that's not the time to choose packages. That's not the time to top up your e-wallet. That's the time to just say, what's in my shopping cart? You're buying it, and it's done because you have enough money in the e-wallet to purchase it. Now, more to come on that. The definition is important. I think we've already had a short clip on this. I believe you must have seen it on Telegram. Non-shifting and shifting, what does that mean? So non-shifting means that once you are in your hotel and the manasik of Hajj begins, you don't vacate that hotel. You retain that hotel during the days of Hajj, during the days of Mina and Arafat and Muzdalifah. Your room is still your room in the hotel, which means you only take the minimum you need to go to the camp because you should be able to get back to your room, access to the room during the manasik of Hajj. This is probably true if you have a hotel in Mecca. Might not be as true if you have a non-shifting or a shifting accommodation where you have now moved out to Aziziyah from your hotel. So you check out of your hotel room when the manasik begins. That's shifting because you shifted. Where are you now? In a furnished apartment building in Aziziyah for the duration of the Hajj. You might say, okay, I've gone to Arafat and I've come back. Can I go to the apartment building? Well, we've had some difficulty, not because we didn't want you to go, but A, the location, and B, the traffic as such. And that's important to understand. But remember, those buildings have only quad occupancy. So if you're in a double occupancy in your hotel in Medina, in your hotel in Mecca, but you can't have double occupancy because they actually maximize the building. So everybody, gender separated quad occupancy in the building, right? So let's go back. Non-shifting, you moved into Mecca, your luggage stays in the room. You just take what you need to go to Mina and Arafat. Your room is yours until Hajj ends, and you have access to it. If you're in shifting combination, when manasik begins, when you're going to Mina, you're most likely you moved out. Your luggage has been transferred to your next destination. If you're starting a program in Mecca and then you're going to go to Medina, your luggage is in storage to be sent to Medina. You will not have access to your luggage, which means for those 4 or 5 days that you will have to look for things that you carry with you to Mina. Sometimes the luggage goes to Aziziyah, or you have an access to go to Aziziyah. It doesn't mean that you can open up your suitcase over there. The luggage will still be in storage and shipped out to your next destination. It's only what you take to Aziziyah, the small amount might be there.
Brother Azhar, if I may add one more thing also, just to highlight what shifting, non-shifting is I think in summary, the non-shifting means you just stay in one location in Mecca, okay? So whether it's in front of the Haram or in Zone A or Zone B or Zone C or Zone M, you're staying in one location. You're not moving, right? For example, the standard program that we have with Sira Mawasim, with Sheikh Yasser Qadi, it's a non-shifting program. And the reason why it's a non-shifting program is because the whole duration in Mecca, they're in Asfur Hotel in Azhar, with exception, caveat, the new program that showed up today, which should consider premium and in Zone C, because after the Hajj, there's a gap of 2 days after for departure, and they put them Sira Mawasim put them in a hotel closer to the Haram, so it kind of changed the name. Well, there's no like change in the actual package, with the exception of the last 2 days before departure. In Boca Hotel, it became a premium shifting program and Zone C, and that's the only reason why. But nothing else changed.
Thank you so much. So what we've done I've shown you URL. I think it was already posted on Telegram. If you go to darussalam.versal.app, it's a fantastic app. It lists all of the packages, and you have a filter there. You see, just show me Al-Burj, just show me Al-Burj that is shifting, just show me Al-Burj that is non-shifting. So we have shown here the packages that's available through Al-Burj, both shifting and non-shifting. And also, if you look, both the Majal al-Kabsh, and there is one package, there is Al-Muassim package, right? And the hotel in Medina and hotel in Mecca, and it's all there. And you can take a look at this, all the packages associated with that. The last one being highlighted is because it hasn't been published yet, but the rest have been published, and you can take a look at it. You can actually do comparison, all those new functions in Nusuk, and look at what the preferred packages are if you're really interested in Al-Burj, for example. Ahmed, would you like to add something?
Yes. So, mashallah, just wanted to shout out to Brother Farhad, of course, who has developed this on a volunteer basis, and I believe he's posted it and he's created it for all the groups and all the packages that are going to be on Nusuk. So may Allah bless him, and it made it very easy for us. Instead of doing a Google sheet, this was very easy, and it's filtered by so many options, including mashayikh scholars, by the way, because we see a lot of questions about which scholar is going where. And you can use this tool, which is really amazing, right? You can choose the luxury shifting, non-shifting, the flights as well. So if the flights are there, then you can click on it. If there's a Toronto, and I'm going to show you this exercise right after we finish, but we'll show you that. So if you're asking a question about where's Montreal or where's Detroit, if it's not on that list, then, unfortunately, we don't have them in our 22, inshallah, packages. But there are many other more, many other
Yeah,
gateways.
that's a good way of putting it, Ahmed. Like, I mean, if you see don't see a city that you want to depart from, but you see another city in your home country, that what that tells you is you have to take a domestic to that city, rather than saying, hey, do I get something out of Ottawa? Do I get something out of, another place? The actual port of departures are defined with respect to the tickets, the airline that is supporting it, and that's how it's already published. And so asking questions, can I have another one? If they have it, they would publish it, but I doubt very much. So just go with what you have and then plan on getting there if it is not your home city, so that you can understand what the total time will be and total cost will be to you. Similarly, you have Sira Mawasim packages, right? Somebody says, I want an 11-day package. Where do I go? Well, I'm looking at a Sira Mawasim DS Gold package that is non-shifting, so I stay in one place. And it is Majal al-Kabsh, which is the premium camp across the Jamarat. And by the way, it's a Swiss Al-Maqam, which is in the clock tower, and it's Anwar al-Medina Movenpick, which is, just one of the closest hotel there is to in Medina. So that's what I would do if I'm looking at, hey, that should be my preferred package if I'm looking at an 11-day package. Or somebody says, I want a longer stay, for example, and cheaper, then you're looking at something called the DS Essentials package, which is more of a lower price package, global, Medina first, 18 days, etc. So this is a good way, and you've got the URL at the bottom. It's a good way to look at it and play with it. It's now available, it's there, and then you can see what's published and then decide based on that. Because you can click on this. I'm not showing you the whole thing, but if you actually go to this URL, you can actually expand each one of them and there has some details in it. And the last one is an Abdul Latif Jamil that we're going to discuss today. Remember, Kinana Towers is coming up. It's happening. It's a matter of when to put it. We didn't want to wait when all of them was in place so we can announce this thing. We'd rather tell you this now. The Kirana is coming up. It might be as early as the next couple of days, right? So we'll let you know before time. So only one is published by Abdul Latif Jamil, which is Jamini Luxury 116, 16 days non-shifting, and that's available to you to take a look. I would again encourage you to go to the URL because it's more detailed in when you open it up. Al-Burj, these are the potential USA gateways, right? Other gateways is available in Canada, UK, you have Perth, you have Sydney, you have Melbourne. Then remember this, it doesn't mean that all the packages have the same gateways. Some of the packages and the list of packages you saw for Al-Burj may only support certain gateways, but not all the gateways. And so it's important to understand that these are all the gateways for the entire set of packages, but it does not apply to every single package. It is specific gateway and airline is available for specific packages, and that in this list of airlines that we have to support it. Similar thing with Sierra Mawasim, potential gateways that you have are listed there. And again, some packages, not all airlines are available from all the gateways. Same caveat in terms of what's available when. And Abdul Latif Jamil with the same thing. The Kirana Towers with Saudia is all with Saudi Arabian Airlines, and that's pretty good because that's a direct non-stop flight, inshallah, to Jeddah, and we'll make that available to you as soon as we have all the information to share with you, inshallah. Now, what should we do? Just, the package will have the service provider name and package name. Go out and select a package based on cost, travel dates, and your budget. Make one primary, pick two secondary. They're all priced in Saudi riyals. They don't include the flights, but in the process of going and selecting it, in configuring a package, you will see group flights. If you see it, you add them together, you will get a total price in Saudi riyals. And now you know your target to top up your wallet too, and then go out and top up, okay? Additional flights through customized flights available through Musafir, which is within part of Nusuk, where you are looking at customized flight. It doesn't allow you to save the configuration because Musafir is like looking at the system now as to what's available. So you'll get an idea, yes, it's available, what time it's available, what dates it's available, how much it costs, but you can't save that because it's not already a purchased flight. Purchased seats, like in group flights, has already been reserved and purchased and money paid. But this is just live looking at what's available. So you can't save that configuration with the flight. If you then say, I have to use it when February the 14th comes in, when this is available, then you go in and see if the same flight is available, if it's at the same price and you have sufficient money in the e-wallet. And this is where people had issues with, where they lost out and that they couldn't complete the booking because either it was not available, or B, it became too expensive, or C, they took too much time to put their money in the e-wallet and the quota was taken up. Okay, so I would recommend as much as possible take the group flights because then you'll have a choice. And if you don't see your city, pick the city that's nearest to you and plan on getting there, right? And don't wait for Musafir or the February the 14th because while you might get something, but you might not get the appropriate camp because that might be already sold out.
And Brother Azhar, if I may add here, of course, this
Sure.
is always going to be the recurring question about can I travel from elsewhere? And I do want to take a luxury program. Unfortunately, you'll notice that most public packages are going to be standard options or MySum options because of the quota, right? And then again, we're going to go back to the same question. I'm sure we're going to see this question again, is what is the quota? And what we're saying to you now is don't think of the quota. What we're saying really is the quota of the country for visas is probably going to run out before any of the packages. All right. So the sooner you book for Majority Capture, the faster it would be. And then after that, MySum will be more available and readily available. So if you're focused on Majority Capture, unfortunately, you'll have to take the package as a group flight from the closest gateway that you're in as soon as possible from the first phase, inshallah. But again, please do not, be zoomed in and focus just on what are the numbers of, and trying to do these stats of how many visas here and how many now in this area. That we're just letting you know it's not enough anyway, right? It may be sufficient for MySum. Everyone will probably be able to go for MySum, but for Majority Capture it might be a little more difficult. But of course, we're hoping that Kidana Towers also will add to that. But just stay tuned, inshallah, with regards to this. Just one more thing. We are not allowed, regardless if either the service providers have given us information or not, we're not allowed to provide you any information that is not in Nusuk. Nusuk is the source. So if you see any errors or something missing in the packages or in our site or in the site that was provided or some of our presentations, the source is Nusuk. Okay, so remember the source is Nusuk and we are replicating what's there. So if Nusuk is not showing you how many seats are available in the program, we can't show it to you. If it happens to be available from other sources, so be it. But we can't show it to you, just so you know. Thank you.
Is it suffice to say, Brother Ahmed, that when it comes to quota, the lowest in Major al-Kabsh, followed by Kidana Towers, followed by Al-Muassim?
Yeah, you can say that in terms of space.
In terms of space, there are
It's
hundreds of
actually, it would
spaces.
be Ma'isa majority capture than Kidana, right? So Kidana would have the least amount, but it would probably be the highest price. So not everyone would be able to afford that.
Understand. Okay. So this is very sufficient here. Paying will be your money will be deducted from your e-wallet. You must have the money. If you don't have it, you have begin a very short period to add your money. I mean, it's right away. Try to get your credit card process. Wire transfer, we've had issues with wire transfer. It got there, but there was nobody there to look at it and credit your account. We've had issues last year with the wire transfer, made it, and you try to get a hold of someone to say, look, this is the money, credit my account, and they didn't credit the account in time, and the person lost out, and then they had to go back and ask for a refund, and they lost a certain percentage even in the refund process. Bank transfer was the same thing. Somebody has to credit your account as such. So when configuring a package, again, determine the total cost, top off your wallet to cover that so that you don't have to go through that I'm short and now I've got to go and find a way within that very short window to actually top up my wallet. Make sure it's already there so you don't have the issue altogether.
So, Brother Azhar, just to clarify, the second line said a short period will be given to add funds to your e-wallet. You're referring to when you're actually purchasing, and that's why we're referring to people to make sure that you top up now. Test it, it works. Top up to the highest number of your top 3 preferred packages.
Yeah, the short period is on the day of sale. It's not, that's
Yep.
it. Yeah. Once you have purchased it, at some point in time, after all this is done, they will actually start issuing the visa. Your passport image and photo is already in Nusuk. The verification process that took place where they've already validated you, it's a matter of simply, sending out an email that has your visa in it. It'll come to you as an email. Last year, and I believe this year as well, they will at least require you to have a proof of vaccination, which is meningitis vaccine is required, and it has a time frame. You must have the vaccine administered at least 10 days prior to arrival, and the vaccine must be available or must be valid for 3 years. Depending on the type of vaccine, some are valid for 5 years. But know that they don't ask for the proof of vaccination to be uploaded. They didn't last year. But what that means is that when you get to the airport, the airline might say, can I see your proof of vaccination? Which is something they're implementing as of February the 1st for Umrah now. So as of next month, if I am traveling from New York, I'm traveling from Chicago or from London or from Toronto, they have instructed the airlines that do not issue a boarding card unless the person shows them a proof of a vaccine which has meningitis on it. So they might just do the same thing for Hajj. So don't take it lightly. I mean, when the time comes, make sure you are vaccinated, and we'll remind you again later on as well.
Inshallah. Brother Azhar, if I may add two things here.
Please go ahead.
So it's very important, brothers and sisters, that your passport needs to be valid for 6 months from the date of the end of your trip. So if you've uploaded a passport and you got verified, even if it's less than 6 months, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out. Okay, so just be very clear. Make sure that your passport is valid for 6 months from the end of your travel time for Hajj. That's very important. If you have to upload it later, please work with Nusuk on that. The process is very important. I don't believe that you might be able to purchase a package if your passport is going to be expired. With regard to the meningitis vaccine, we will discuss this in due time. You don't need to have the vaccine now. You don't need to get the meningitis vaccine now. You don't need to know when you need the meningitis vaccine until let's purchase a package first. Once you purchase a package, we're going to probably have more than 3 months for us to get the vaccine, inshallah. All right. So even if you purchase, let's assume the packages go live for sale a couple of weeks later and before Ramadan, and then you can't take the vaccine during the whole month of Ramadan, it's perfectly fine. We're going to have the whole month of April to also take the vaccine, inshallah, and anything that follows as well.
I think the last bullet is the most important one, which is to be patient as we all go through this process together. We will inform you as soon as we possibly can, as soon as we find out. The next target for us to let you know is the details to the level that we provided you here. For the 3 service providers, we want to provide you the details for the Kirana Towers and Saudi Airlines. And as soon as we have that, we'll have another webinar schedule. We'll walk you through it. And then you'll have all the information required for you to configure the packages and top off your e-wallet and just wait for the sales to start. And right after that, we'll start our webinars and administrative and religious aspects of the Hajj journey. So that's all we had. I'm going to stop the share, and maybe you can turn on the ability for them to ask questions.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Azhar. I'm just going to take a quick 5 minutes just to show again the screen. I think we've done this before, but again, I'm going to repeat it just for those that may have missed the multiple sessions that we've done before. This is the dashboard. If you notice here, there's a blue dot on the cart. That means I've pre-configured a booking already. So what I want to do is I'm going to empty my cart. And before I go into here and show you the process, this again is the page that you can search for all the Dar es Salaam supported packages, mashallah. You can search by package name, by provider, Al-Burj, Sira, Abdul Latif Jamil. You can even search by the scholar. If the name is not there, then inshallah, we'll be updating other packages. You can choose by category, luxury, non-shifting, shifting, economy, non-shifting. This is the premium shifting we were talking about. That is just happens to be 2 nights in Movenpick. Voco. There's Majorly Caption Maisam at this time. You can also choose if the program is Medina first or Mecca first. You can choose the Mecca hotel, Medina hotel, and the flights as you can see here. So if I want to look at Toronto or Sydney, you'll see a package for Sydney here. If I want to pick, I can pick multiple flights actually. So let's say I want to see Dallas and Houston. I will click on Dallas and Houston. It'll show me all the packages that are Dallas or Houston. And then I want it to be a Majorly Caption program. So it'll then show me this, and then I'll know right away. Then after that, I can actually click on expand of the program. I'll see the details of the program, the in, the out, the scholar, the camp, the total pricing, if there is a pricing already on Nusuk, and the flight details here, Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, London, Houston, New York, Dallas, and so on and so forth. All right, so this is how you would do it. This is a great, great, great tool. So please make use of it. This is so much easier than probably going in and just looking at them one by one. So let's go in again here. Again, we go into the packages. Unfortunately, there isn't one code that you can use to see all the Dar es Salaam supported packages. But if you want to see Sira packages, you're gonna type in DS here in the find, and you'll find the packages that are there. For Al-Burj, actually, you can do AL space BURJA, because there's AB and there's a space AB. That'll give you the 8 packages that we are supporting. They're going to be 9, so one of them is Deluxe 6 missing. And then Jamil, there's only 1 package so far. Most of them are still standard, so we'll be able to do that. So again, I want the AB 13 luxury package shifting. I'm going to click on view details. The reason why I'm choosing this to show you how the 3 types of accommodations work. If you look here in the configure package, it tells you the starting price, right? So let's go back again. I want to show you something here. You look at the hotel information, and here configure price is starting 44,714, and that includes the VAT, but it doesn't include the airfare yet. So if you click on configure and you choose, let's say we choose quad occupancy, and again, I'm choosing 1 here because I'm only 1 in my account. But if you have multiple, you can use multiple here. So if you're 3 people and you want to be a triple room, you'll do click, click, click 3 times. Click, click, click here for quad, because like we said, any Aziziyya, which is a Rayyan or Asfur, they're all quad occupancy. You cannot change that. And then here you have your quad or triple for Seja Hotel. The same applies in double occupancy and so on and so forth. And you can actually start seeing the number, the price adding, right? Here is 18,272. And if you add the hotel here and here, you have to add all of them. They keep adding up and the VAT adds up. And then you can click on next. And it takes you to any additional services. Again, this is a great question. All our packages, with exception of standard, all the packages we're supporting, with the exception of the standard package in Sira Mawasim, come with udhiyah, even if they don't have that check mark for it. So you don't have to purchase that here. And for the standard package in Sira program with Sheikh Yasir Qadi, we will provide you guidance on how to purchase the udhiyah after you purchase the package. Click on next. And then, of course, because this is a custom package, it has flights. It has Chicago, Washington, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles. Let's say I choose Houston. I could be ready to choose anything as long as I can get this package. I'll click on next. It gives me the final price. The transportations are all included. It gives me the final price. And I will save and configure. And now this package is saved and configured in my cart. So once the packages are out for sale, I'll click on here. It'll say configure package. It'll go to configure package. And this, instead of save configuration, it's going to say purchase. And if I have enough in my e-wallet, then I can purchase it right away. And then we can move forward from there, inshallah. So again, make sure you use all the resources. You have the Hajj guide as well. The source here that has all the packages. And we've gone briefly here again for the Nusuk platform for your viewing. So we're going to open the Q&A here, and we're going to begin answering questions. Jazakallah khair for really being with us this whole time. We're supposed to go into close at 9:30, but hopefully, inshallah, we'll do another 15-20-minute session, and then we'll go from there, bi'idhnillah. In the meantime, I will answer some questions. While Brother Azhar takes some questions verbally, I will answer some in text or message or type the answers on there as well. Fadal, Brother.
Okay. Question, Brother Muhammad, is February 9th USA? Oh, what happened here? Just disappeared on me. Is February 9th USA time date or Saudi time date? Does Kirana Towers mean we are not in the camp tent and we are in the building? What are the chances of date being pushed? Can you send this presentation in Telegram? Number one, February 9th date is the date in general. When they actually ready to announce, we normally would tell you. We'll actually tell you in Telegram. Last year, we actually even configured a 1-800 number. We call people, so next hour or 2 hours, standby. It's about to be launched. So there's no specific time per se. It's generally the date itself that it will be launched. Sometimes it is their time, and we have to sort of minus ourselves and get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to actually get ready to log in to be able to purchase the package. Your second part of the question was, Kidana Towers mean we're not in a camp tent and we're in a building. Yes, you are in a building, but don't think that the building is not allowed in Mina. Years before they extended the Jamarat, and I'm talking about the first time I came for Hajj was in 1984. That was 41 years ago. You could actually see buildings right on the pathway going to the Jamarat. So it's perfectly okay to have a building, but that's where you'll be. These are brand new buildings. It was built last year, and it is smack in the middle of the valley of Mina. And so that's where you'll be. What are the chances of date being pushed? Well, we're just sticking to the date they announced. I mean, can they push it? Sure can. If things are not in place, if not all of the packages are in place, they might just push it. And we'll, inshallah, send you a presentation, not the presentation itself, but we'll send you the recording of this, inshallah, on Telegram. Can you please clarify if Mashayar transport does not include going to and from Jamarat and Tawaf al-Ifadah and only going from hotel Mina to Arafat to Muzdalifah and back to Mina camp? Absolutely. It is only between places like Mina to Arafat to Muzdalifah and back to Mina. Going to the Jamarat is a walk. And the reason is because in the valley, everything is shut down. Once you come back from Arafat, no transportation enters the valley until it's time for you to depart at the end of the Hajj, which is 12th of Zulhijjah. So there will be no transportation going to the Jamarat and back. However, in that time frame, you have to go for Tawaf al-Ifadah, then a transportation is arranged, and sometimes that means you walk out of the camp and you walk a little bit till you get to a road that is open, and then you board your bus from there to be able to go to the Haram to perform Tawaf al-Ifadah and return. Wheelchairs availability, booked in advance, fees. Well, wheelchairs availability is a separate topic altogether. You need a wheelchair and a person to push you. then they come together. The person holding the wheelchair, you rent him for the tawaf or for tawaf and sa'i, and you negotiate a fee and you pay him at the end of your service. If you need a wheelchair, that's a family member is going to push you in, then go buy one from the pharmacy. It's always available in the pharmacy. So it's not a simple question if it's available. As such, you don't have to book in advance, and the fee varies depending on the rush you have, right? What is the link for the DST package? I believe it was already shown. I think if you just go and follow the URL, I should be able to actually get that. As such, it depends. If you put in DS for Sira Mawasim, it'll show up. If you put it Al-Burj space A, Al-Burj packages show up. And right now it's only one for Abdul Latif Jamil, right? Brother Yasser, your question is important. My wife and I will be going to Hajj, inshallah. When we purchase the package, would the system apply the package for both of us at the same time? Well, the answer to it depends on if you both are in the same profile. If you created a profile for yourself and verified, then you added her as a family member, or she added you as a family member, then that profile purchased the package, it purchased two packages. The number of people in the profile is equal to the number of packages purchased. At what point would flights be available for purchase? How do you top the wallet to cover flights if we do not know the cost? We'll be able to choose the travel class. So Brother Yasser, if you're looking at group flights, what they do is they list the package separately. And the price would vary. I want double occupancy, price will be higher. And once you do that, then it will give you the flight options, and then you pick the flight, and now the combination of that will be your total price. So the flight's available for the group flight. It's published with the actual package, and that's what you choose to actually get that. Now, when it comes to the other option, which is customized flight, you will only know what's available by playing with it now, but the actual date of sale is when you actually go out and try to buy the flight, right? How do you top up the wallet to cover the flights if you don't know the cost? Well, for group flights, you will know the total cost because it's listed, and so you'll know what the cost is. Will we be able to choose the travel class? I don't think so. Right now, it's all economy class. The flights are all economy class. They don't have flights for business class or anything of that sort. Perhaps once you choose an economy class, I don't know whether we can upgrade you to business class based on availability, but what's available is economy class. If I buy a public package, who will buy my air ticket, or where can find the option to buy one by myself? Well, the air ticket that they're interested in a public package is the flight that comes into Saudi Arabia and departs Saudi Arabia. They are not interested in the rest of the leg of the journey from your home country. So if you're going to go from New York to Dubai and then Dubai to Medina, they're interested in the flight coming into Medina. And they're interested in the flight leaving Jeddah going back to Medina. So you can purchase that through Nusuk, through their system called Musafir, which is a dynamic booking system on the date of sale. So you got your public package on the 14th, go to Musafir, pick your flight, and now you have the total answer. Right? Will we have a designated shuttle from Muasim camp to our hotel if we have a non-shifting package? That area does not have anything designated. They may have a shuttle service based on traffic to bring you into your hotel as such. So I can't say that you'll have a designated shuttle and the time is published. There is no such thing in the time of Hajj because of the uncertainty due to traffic jams in and around the Haram area. But we will try to get you to your hotel at specific time. When you come back from Muzdalifah, you want to come out of Ihram, you want to throw your stones, we'll have to arrange a transportation for you. Will it be from your camp in Muasim, or will it be that you come to the Jamrat to throw the stones, and after that there'll be a place to go to for your transportation? That will be determined at that time, but we'll have transportation, inshallah, available to you. Is it possible to
Brother
walk?
Azhar, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna pause for 1 second. I'm gonna answer just a bulk statement for business class. If you want business class and you want to guarantee business class, you need to sacrifice the luxury package or majority capture package and wait for public packages. And then you may choose whatever you like on the Musafir platform. If you decide that you want the luxury of a package, you want a luxury package, you want majority capture, you want luxury package, you want majority capture, then you have to take something that has an economy ticket. After you purchase, if there's something we can help you offline, Khair, inshallah, we'll do our best. So again, you want a luxury package, you want Majar al-Kapsh, you got to take a group flight, which is economy. And then after, we work with the airline to see if we can do the business class upgrade. If business class is more important than the Majar al-Kapsh and luxury, then you can wait for the public packages to come out, purchase the business class, but most likely will be in a Maisam and standard package. Thank you, brothers. So you can bypass anything that's an upgrade question, inshallah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Now, your question, the second question, is it possible to walk from Asfor Hotel and Rayan Hotel Jamarat? You can walk from Makkah to Jamarat. You can walk from any end of Mina, but it's not an easy thing to do. Last year, the temperature went up to 118 degrees the day after people came back from Muzdalifah. And as you know, a lot of people died of heat stroke. So we don't advise people to unnecessarily walk. But if you wanted to walk, nothing will stop you from walking, right? You just use common sense. Brother Ahmed, I just want you to know that I am about 3 minutes away from the adhan of Fajr, and today is Jummah. So I'm not going to be able to continue with the
Sure,
Q&A.
I can continue, inshallah.
But I do hope, brothers and sisters, I really sincerely hope that if you had some, questions, that at least this presentation answered them, and it will only get better from here on. We're there to help you, to serve you, to guide you, and we have nothing but sincerity in our heart to make sure that you perform Hajj as Hajj should be performed, and we'll give you nothing but the best advice based on the information that we know. So thank you so much for listening to me and watching the presentation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us ease in this journey. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us contented with whatever He has bestowed upon us. It is not something that happens because you want to make it happen. It is something that happens because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants it to happen. Remember, there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which he says the one who comes for Hajj is a guest of Allah. So you don't decide to become somebody's guest unless the host decides to make you a guest. So pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't ever lose the power of dua. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely to call you to His house to perform Hajj. There is no substitute. Nothing Dar Islam or any service providers can do for you or against you. Just make sure that you are making that dua in earnest and doing the best that you can, and then put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from my perspective, and inshallah until next time. Assalamu alaikum.